Hello and welcome. This is Edexcel, iGCSE, ICT, and this is the 2020 paper, the practical paper, the paper 2. It's what everyone's been waiting for. We're going to look at the first question, the logo question. Now, when you get this paper, it's really important that you look at the scenario very, very carefully. And here we can see we've got Lucia, the owner of Lang Getaways. The company offers holiday accommodation based in the UK. And there's their address, telephone number, website, email. Probably going to need that later when we make a website. And more importantly, most importantly, we've got a house style here, which we need to make a careful note of. And it's worth just writing that down if you want to in your exam on some scrap paper. The house style. The house style for Lang Getaways company documents is sans serif font for the company name, logo position, bottom center. So it's worth making a careful note of that. Then we're going to have a look at the graphics question now. So here is the graphics question, and task A1, Lucia needs a logo to be used on some of the company's documents. Open a new word processing document, enter task A1, name candidate number in the header, that's at the top of the document, save the document as task A1. Okay, so we need to open Word and go straight into that. Now, new blank document, and then we can double click on the top and put the details in there. It's really important that your name and details do go on there, and you save it as task A1. You're going to print this off, and if it comes out the printer without your name on it, it has to go in the bin because you don't know whose work that is. If you're in a centre where there's loads of other people there with you, in your classroom or in the centre where you are, then work that comes out the printer with no name on it, in my class it goes straight in the bin because there's no way to prove that whose work it was. So we're going to create a logo. Fit for purpose and be a simple drawing that uses lines and shapes. Include the company name or Lang. Company name is Lang Getaways. Save it as LG logo. Right, my software of choice for this is PowerPoint, and I'm just going to move this across. Why PowerPoint? Okay, it's possible to make the logo, and this is a logo here on the left. It's possible to make the logo using PowerPoint. You do not need to use fancy software. You do not need to use Paint. I would not use Paint to make a logo. Some people have asked me in comments, emails, should I use Paint to make a logo? I would say definitely not. It's really not suitable. You might have Photoshop if you're lucky, in which case if you know how to use that, use it. But for most people, it's going to be probably making a logo in PowerPoint, which is perfectly easy to do. Okay, and here's an example. Here's one I made earlier, Lang Getaways. So the brief says, if we look at this, simple logo that includes lines and shapes, include the company name or Lang. So how did I make this? It was really easy. I just inserted some shapes here and I drew a shape like this. Shape fill blank, outline black there. Okay, it says it must just be lines and shapes. So what I wanted to do was perhaps have a triangle on there to kind of represent like a road going off into the horizon there. Okay. And then I might just have a simple, I'm just keeping it really simple, okay? And that's perfectly fine. A line across there to represent the horizon, okay? I'm going to keep this one blue, so I'm just going to draw this one in blue, just to kind of contrast the other one, okay? And then some text there, so what I did was insert and use word art there, okay? I'm going to go with the blue this time. So I either say Lang or Lang Getaways, okay? Make sure you spell it properly. Don't misspell it. It's got to be spelled properly. There, like that, okay? And actually, I think the blue looks some ways a bit nicer than in black there. I think it looks a bit nicer. Kind of center that there as well, okay? And now what I could do there is then maybe make that text bold. Okay, so we're just thinking back to the house style. Just scroll back up for a moment. It keeps trying to open that website. It does say sans serif font for company name, okay? So what does that mean? Well, a sans serif font is a font that looks like this, okay? If we think about different fonts now, I'll show you the difference between a sans serif font and a serif font. A serif font would be, if I just scroll down and find Times New Roman, okay, there. That's a serif font. You can see the little serifs, the little lines at the edge of the letter there. They mean serifs. That's a serif font. I want a sans serif font like that without those little lines on there. Okay. That is perfectly acceptable as a logo. I'm just going to move this guy out of the way. And then what I need to do is just simply select it all. I'm going to right click now and I'm going to group it together. Okay. Now, just back to the brief. It says save the logo as LG logo. Let's do that. So we're going to right click. We're going to go to save as picture. Okay. And you would save it in your folder, but I've already saved one called LG logo. I'm going to save this as LG logo 1, but it needs to be saved as a PNG LG logo save. Okay. Now, that can then be inserted into Word once you save that in the correct folder. Okay. That can then put that in there. And that's perfectly fine. Okay. So that is, we'll look at the mark scheme in a moment. That is inserted to copy into task A1, done that. Save it as LG logo, done that. Fit for purpose, yep. Lines and shapes, company name or Lang. Let's look at the mark scheme. What does it say? Lines or shapes, yep, got that. Yep, definitely got that, okay. Include the company name or logo, ignore spelling. Do not award the mark if the line, shapes or image is not original. So what you shouldn't be doing, you probably can't do anyway, is going on the internet and getting a logo and dropping it in there and saying that's yours. This took me all of a couple of minutes to make. It's perfectly acceptable. It is a logo and it looks good on there. Okay, if I shrink it down, it looks really good, up or down. Okay, it doesn't really pixelate. It's perfectly acceptable. My logo is now done. So that completes task A1A. Okay, task A1B, slightly more complex this. Lucille wants to use an image of a caravan on an advert. She has the image saved as caravan. Edit the image to remove the tower from the image. Increase the size of the satellite dish. Cropping to remove the top third of the image. Adding the name of the company to top area of the image. Okay, right, looking at this question, you might think, I really need to have graphics editing software for this, or I should be doing this in Paint. I'm going to show you now that you don't actually have to do that. It's a 4-mark question. It needs to have some editing, but I'm going to do this question in PowerPoint, believe it or not. I'm going to do it in PowerPoint. I'm going to show you how you do this question in PowerPoint. And here's the finished article. Okay, we can see that, well, let's just start again and I'll show you the original, okay, that we're going to work with. I'm just going to insert that image now, okay. So here's the original image, okay, and you can see the tower there. We assume that to be the tower. We assume this to be the satellite dish that they want to make bigger. So if we go and look at the mark scheme, what is it asking us to do? Okay, remove the tower from the image, 1 mark. Increase the size of the satellite dish, 1 mark. Must be obvious. Top third of image cropped. Lang getaways put on there as well. So let's have a look at that now. How do we do that? Right, I've put the image on there, okay. Now what I'm going to do is right click and copy, and I'm going to right click and paste that in. And the first thing I'm going to do is, I just want to get rid of that design ideas. They keep popping up. It's a bit annoying. We don't want that. I'm going to work on, the first thing I'm going to work on is getting rid of this tower here. So what I'm going to do is use the crop tool now on this second image, and I'm going to crop it to close to the tower. I want a piece of sky, okay, like that. I've cropped it down, press escape, that goes. Right, I'm going to pop that sky on there. See, it already disappears. It's not great. If I rotate it though, okay, because you see the caravan's got like a slightly slanted roof. I'm going to move that around, okay. Now, to all intents and purposes, that has disappeared. Okay, we've got rid of the tower. I can just sort of shrink that down a bit just to go right over there, and that looks okay. That looks pretty good to me, and I could say that the tower is now gone. By using the crop tool, by getting the second image, I've now removed the tower. But we're not finished. We want to enlarge the satellite dish. So again, I'm going to copy this. I'm going to paste another one in. Okay, this time I'm going to crop it again down to the satellite dish here, okay, as near as I can. Now, that's okay. You might want to zoom in a bit on that. Design ideas keep coming in, but we'll get rid of that. I think I'll just crop it a little bit more. Okay, now I'm going to go to remove background. Okay, I'm going to mark areas to keep. Let's make sure we don't crop any part of that satellite dish. Keep changes. There is my satellite dish. I'm going to put it into position and I need to make it bigger. Okay, obviously bigger. It has cropped sort of slightly the side off, so I think I'm just going to go back a few steps and just do that remove background again. Just being really fussy, but I don't want any part of it cropped, so I'm just going to make sure I've got all of that there and keep changes. Okay, that is better. Right, I'm going to enlarge it. Not stupidly big, but clearly much bigger. Okay, a much bigger satellite dish. We just zoom out there. Okay, so we can barely see that tower now when we zoom out, where I kind of put another piece of the image on top of that. We can barely see it, and the satellite dish is clearly bigger. Right, now I need to crop the image. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to group this together. Right click, highlight it, right click and group. The next thing I need to do is I want to crop it. I want to crop a third of it. Right, we're going to now change the size of the image up to 21 by 21. Why? Because I want to take a third of the image off. I want to crop a third of the image. So 3 7s are 21. So if I take off 7 centimeters of the image, then I would have taken off a third of the image. Okay. So I'm going to go to my crop tool now, and I'm going to take a third off the top. Okay. 14.8. Just put it down a little bit more. 14.36. I want it to be 14, so I'm going to try and manually type that in there. 14 centimeters. Okay. Doesn't quite work. I'm just going to shrink it down a little bit more. Okay. Now, I'm going to take a little bit more off. Just a tiny bit more. Okay. That's probably too much. Up a bit. Okay. Like that. That will do. I have now cropped a third of that off. If we look at the mark scheme, we see the cropped image and the original image. So what should appear is most of the cloud, that blue sky, that bright blue sky at the top should disappear. If we look at mine, it has. So that's a third. Okay, that is as near as I can get it to a third. I took off 7 centimeters and came down there to about just over 14 it was. Now, the final part of this says adding the name of the company to the top area of the image. So now I need to put Lang Getaway at the top. That's really easy to do. That's probably the easiest part of this. I'm just going to insert some word art and just type Lang Getaway. Make sure you spell it correctly, and we'll make that a bit bigger like that. There. Again, right click, right click, group. Okay. The satellite dish has got knocked out, so I'm just going to undo that. If that happens, all you need to do is ungroup and just move the things back to where they should be. So that got knocked out of position, so I'll just move that back, and a little bit of sky got knocked out of position, so I just moved that back again. Right, we can see here that slightly out, so I'm just going to move that up. Okay, perfect. Zoom out. Right, let's get this into position in the top. Okay, remember, highlight, right click, group, right click, save as picture. Okay, what do we need to save it as? Caravan 2. Capital letters, Caravan 2. Save. Insert that into the Word document. Let's go and put it in there and see what it looks like. Okay, so me kind of using PowerPoint. What have we got now? Insert picture. Let's have a look at this guy. Okay, right. Bearing in mind this is going to get printed off. An examiner looking at that will think, okay, the tower's gone. Yeah, the satellite is clearly bigger, and clearly it's a third. Okay, so using PowerPoint, And also, sorry, the LAN getaway has been placed at the top. So using PowerPoint, I have answered that question. I did not need to have fancy graphic software. I did not used to use Paint. I did it all in PowerPoint. And that is 4 marks. Total 6 marks. Okay, so how are they going to get marked for that? Remove the tower from the image. Yep, check, done that. Crease the satellite, must be obvious. Yep, done that. Top third of image cropped. See that? Yep, done that. Looks like third of the image has been cropped. LAN getaways put at the top. Okay, have I done that? Yes, I'm really happy with that. And clearly the tower's been removed. Okay, it's not completely perfect, but it looks, to all intents and purposes, once it's been printed off, it looks like the tower's been removed. It also looks like the satellite dish is clearly a third bigger. Okay, and I did all that using PowerPoint. So have a go yourself and see how you get on. As always, big thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments how you get on. I always enjoy hearing from you, and big thank you for watching. Good luck with your exams. Good luck. Thanks for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe. Bye bye.